you've done everything right. You've followed every rule people told you to follow. No water after the evening, no salty foods at dinner, no tea, no coffee, no soup, and no heavy meals before bed. Yet every single night, without fail, you still wake up at the exact same time, usually around 2 in the morning, a time so precise it almost feels like your body has set an internal alarm clock you never asked for. Not a minute early, not a minute late. And the most frustrating part is that you don't even drink much before bed, yet your bladder still seems to wake you up like clockwork. But what if the reason you wake up at the same time every night has nothing to do with your bladder at all? What if it isn't about your water intake, your age, your kidneys, or even your prostate? What if the real cause is hidden deep inside the nerve cells that control your bladder, your sleep cycles, and the delicate communication system between your brain and your body? Millions of people over 60 are facing the exact same problem, and most of them have no idea what's actually going on. They blame aging, they blame weak bladder muscles, or they assume something is wrong with their body, when in reality, nothing is broken. The truth is surprisingly simple. Your body is quietly lacking 3 tiny but powerful nutrients that your bladder's nervous system desperately needs every single night. These nutrients act like the electrical wiring inside your bladder's control system. When even one of them is low, your nerves become overly sensitive, your bladder muscles tighten too quickly, and your brain receives false urgency signals that wake you up even when you don't actually need to go. This means you aren't waking up because your bladder is full. You're waking up because your nerve signals are misfiring. Research shows that up to 67% of people over 60 have a deficiency in at least one of these 3 nutrients. And when a deficiency develops, the bladder cannot stay relaxed, cannot hold urine comfortably, and cannot send accurate signals to the brain. But the good news is that none of this is permanent, and none of it is caused by aging alone. With the right understanding and natural correction, you can retrain your bladder to stay calm, your nerves to stay balanced, and your brain to remain asleep throughout the night. Before we explore each of the deficiencies, it's important to understand something most doctors never explain. The bladder is not just a simple storage bag, it is an intelligent organ connected to a two-way communication system involving your brain, spinal cord, and nerves. This system determines when your bladder should relax, when it should contract, and when it should send signals to wake you up. When the system runs smoothly, your bladder holds urine effortlessly for hours. But when the system lacks the nutrients it depends on, the communication becomes distorted, causing false alarms that interrupt your sleep. This expanded guide will walk you through each hidden deficiency one by one, from the least to the most impactful. You will learn exactly how each one affects your body, how it disrupts your nighttime bladder function, and most importantly, how to restore balance using simple, natural methods. No medications, no harsh supplements, and no complicated routines. Just gentle adjustments that support your body's natural ability to regulate itself. The first silent imbalance that often disrupts sleep and causes unnecessary nighttime. Urination is magnesium deficiency, a problem so common that most older adults don't even realize they have it. Magnesium is a mineral your bladder depends on every single day, yet it tends to decline naturally with age due to changes in digestion, reduced dietary variety, and long-term medication use. Inside your bladder, magnesium acts as a calming force. It helps the smooth muscles relax, prevents premature contractions, and stabilizes the nerve activity that sends signals to the brain. When magnesium levels drop, the bladder becomes jumpy and overly sensitive. Even when it's only a little full, it can react as if it urgently needs to empty, sending false messages upward through the nervous system that jolt you awake in the middle of the night. This is why many people wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning without actually having a full bladder. It's not the amount of urine causing the problem, it's the irritated bladder nerves firing too early. Many older adults also describe nighttime symptoms such as leg cramps, foot tingling, muscle twitching, restlessness, or trouble staying asleep. They often assume these are simply signs of aging, but in reality, they are classic indicators of low magnesium. Research consistently shows that magnesium plays a major role in regulating deep sleep cycles as well. When levels are low, the nervous system becomes more alert, the muscles become less relaxed, and your overall sleep becomes lighter and more easily disturbed. The good news is that magnesium deficiency is one of the easiest to correct naturally. You don't need pills to bring your levels back to normal. Instead, gentle foods rich in magnesium can help rebuild your body's internal balance in a slow, steady, and safe way. Foods like steamed pumpkin, cooked spinach, black beans, oats, and unsalted almonds can all help restore magnesium. But timing matters more than most people think. Magnesium-rich foods are best eaten earlier in the day, ideally between lunch and late afternoon, because consuming them too close to bedtime may trigger mild bloating or digestion-related discomfort, which can interfere with sleep. When magnesium levels finally begin to rise, the changes can feel almost magical. The bladder becomes calmer. Urgency decreases. The early morning awakenings grow less frequent. Some people even report deeper sleep, fewer muscle cramps, and the ability to sleep 5 to 6 uninterrupted hours for the first time in years. Restoring magnesium is not about fixing old age. It's about giving your nerves and muscles exactly what they've been lacking. Once the bladder receives its proper support, it stops sending emergency signals to the brain, and your nights begin to feel peaceful again. The second critical nutrient that often goes unnoticed but plays a major role in nighttime bladder disruptions is potassium. Potassium is vital for maintaining the electrical charge across your nerve cell membranes, which allows nerve signals to fire correctly and communicate with precision. When potassium levels fall too low, especially in older adults, the nerve signals between your bladder and your brain can become distorted. Imagine your bladder nerves as delicate electrical wires. Without enough potassium, they misfire. As the bladder begins to fill, those distorted signals can convince your brain that it's already urgent, even when the bladder isn't anywhere near full. This false urgency leads to middle-of-the-night awakenings, often followed by only a small amount of urine released. Potassium deficiency is remarkably common in seniors for several important reasons. Many take diuretic medications to control blood pressure or reduce fluid buildup. These medications flush potassium out of the body, stealthily reducing levels over time. At the same time, many older people unintentionally restrict high-potassium foods because they worry about carbs or digestion. So they skip fruits, potatoes, and other natural sources. Age-related kidney changes can also accelerate potassium loss, and lower appetite or dietary variety further compounds the problem. Together, these factors make the nerve system more sensitive and the bladder more jumpy. The symptoms of low potassium are often subtle and easy to ignore. You might feel mild fatigue, notice tingling in your hands or feet, or sense a fluttering heartbeat when you stand up. You may not immediately connect those feelings with frequent nighttime urination, but they are deeply related. When bladder nerves aren't properly stabilized, the most innocent stretch of the bladder can trigger a wake-up message. And that's exactly what interrupts your sleep. Fortunately, restoring potassium doesn't require expensive pills or complicated routines. You can gently replenish your levels using common senior-friendly foods such as a ripe banana, boiled sweet potato, or a glass of fresh coconut water. A medium banana yields about 420 milligrams of potassium. A boiled sweet potato offers around 540 milligrams, and coconut water provides roughly 600 milligrams per glass. These foods are easily digestible, gentle on your stomach, and are best consumed in the morning, at lunch, or in the early afternoon. That way, your body has time to absorb them fully before night falls, and you avoid upsetting your digestion or sleep rhythm. When potassium levels begin to recover, the change can be profound. Your nerve signals regain stability, your bladder stops misfiring, and true urgency returns only when your bladder is effectively full, not when it's half empty. Over time, the false alarms that pulled you out of sleep start to fade. Middle-of-the-night awakenings become less frequent, and the restfulness of your sleep returns. This is not about using medication to stop urination. It's about rewiring your bladder's communication system through simple, natural nourishment so that your nerves can finally send the right messages. Asterisk. The final and most impactful deficiency affecting nighttime urination is vitamin B6, a nutrient far more important than most people realize. Vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine, is involved in more than 100 biochemical reactions in the body. But 3 of its roles are especially crucial for sleep and bladder control. First, B6 helps produce serotonin, the neurotransmitter that keeps your nervous system calm as the day comes to an end. Second, it helps convert serotonin into melatonin, the hormone that allows you to fall into deep, uninterrupted sleep. And third, It helps regulate the release of the antidiuretic hormone, AD, which tells your kidneys to slow down urine production at night. When you lack vitamin B6, this entire chain begins to break apart. Serotonin drops, melatonin drops, and ADH drops. As a result, your body continues producing urine at night as if it were daytime, pulling you out of sleep again and again with a sensation of urgency. Vitamin B6 deficiency is extremely common in older adults, particularly those who eat little fish, poultry, or whole grains. It is even more common in people who take acid-reducing medications such as omeprazole, esomeprazole, or ranitidine for long periods. These medications reduce stomach acid, which may be helpful for reflux, but they also make it harder for the stomach to absorb B vitamins from food. Over the years, this leads to chronic low levels of B6 without anyone realizing it. Symptoms of deficiency are often subtle: difficulty relaxing in the evening, mild anxiety, shallow sleep, vivid dreams, restless thoughts, or easily irritated skin. People may also notice that they wake up frequently to urinate even when they've reduced their fluid intake. Scientific studies strongly support the connection between vitamin B6 deficiency and nighttime urination. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine in 2016 found that adults with low B6 levels produced significantly less melatonin and slept nearly an hour less each night. Another study from Osaka University revealed that seniors with low B6 produced nearly half the amount of antidiuretic hormone compared to those with adequate levels. Without enough ADH, the kidneys simply don't know they are supposed to slow down at night, so they continue producing urine, forcing the bladder to send wake-up signals to the brain even when you should be resting deeply. Fortunately, restoring vitamin B6 doesn't require supplements unless advised by a doctor. Simple. Nourishing foods can gently rebuild your levels. Baked salmon provides nearly 70% of your daily B6 needs in just one serving. Boiled chicken breast also offers a generous amount, and cooked oats add an additional boost. These foods are easy to digest, especially for seniors, and work best when eaten at lunchtime or early afternoon. When B6 levels rise again, the body begins producing serotonin and melatonin more effectively. AD levels stabilize, nighttime urine production decreases, and sleep becomes deeper and more continuous without sudden awakenings. If you've reduced your nighttime fluids, adjusted your diet, avoided tea and coffee, and still find yourself waking up to urinate, there is a strong chance that B6 deficiency is quietly affecting your sleep cycle. The miracle of this nutrient is that even small improvements can make a huge difference. Sometimes just one serving of salmon at the right time of day can help restore the hormonal balance that supports restful nights. Once your serotonin and melatonin pathways are functioning properly again, your bladder finally receives the message to stay calm and hold urine until morning. As you reach this final part of your transformation, think of your nights not as broken hours of sleep, but as a journey your body has been trying to complete for years. By now, you understand that nighttime urination in seniors is rarely about just age. It's a communication system your body uses to tell you something is out of balance. Whether it's your bladder misreading the clock, your kidneys working overtime, your circulation slowing down, or your nerves firing incorrectly, every signal had a reason. And now, after applying the foundational steps of warm foot immersion, gentle nighttime breathing, bladder calming self-massage, flexible meal timing, and magnesium-rich sleep nutrition, your body begins to cooperate again. Nights slowly become quieter. Instead of waking up startled by urgency, your bladder begins to wait, your kidneys begin to rest, and your brain begins to stay in deep sleep longer. You start noticing that your early morning tension is fading. Your evening anxiety is easing, and the constant fear of, will I sleep tonight, begins to dissolve. This final phase is about reinforcement supporting the newfound rhythm you have created. Your bladder muscles grow steadier and more coordinated as you train them to hold naturally. Your circadian hormones start aligning, pushing your body into restful nighttime mode and reducing unnecessary nighttime urine production. Your nervous system becomes calmer, which is one of the strongest predictors of bladder stability in older adults. You begin to trust your body again. By practicing these routines every night for just 1 week, most seniors experience fewer trips to the bathroom, deeper sleep, more morning energy, and a renewed sense of control. This process is not Magic Kit's physiology. You supported your muscles, relaxed your nerves, improved circulation, regulated fluids, eased stress triggers, and taught your body how to sleep again. And slowly, night after night, your system responded. You were not too old to sleep through the night. You simply needed the right sequence, the right habits, and the right respect for how your body communicates. Now your nights can become peaceful, predictable, and deeply restorative. You've reached the final step, and from here forward, your evenings will no longer be a battle, but a natural return to calm.